Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Real Deal. Now, we're coming up on the United States' 250th anniversary. We are a very young country when you compare us to the rest of the world. And let's look back at a few things. Now, we have a country where, have you ever noticed the great disparity between the rich and the poor? Have you ever noticed that? You've got basically your three classes, so they say your lower class, your middle class, your upper class. I don't have a problem with people that are disabled, with people getting Social Security because they're older or anything like that, especially when they work their whole lives for it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the working man. I don't have a problem with the rich man, but most of them have not worked for that money, and they come from privilege, and they don't help people like they should. The people that help out the most are the so-called middle or upper lower class. And the lower class is usually because of, they don't have the opportunities many do because there's no jobs like there used to be. Used to be in some cities you could get out of high school and go right into a nice, good paying automotive job and work there 30 years, 40 years and have one heck of a retirement. Can't do that anymore. Nope. But back when the revolution hit, and you ever wonder about this, and I'm going to talk about it, we're going to point out some things. When the revolution hit, you had all these people at the higher echelon. They weren't really poor. A lot of them were farmers, but their farms were not like your typical farmer in America now, where they bust their butt and only make $5 an hour when it's all said and done. These guys farmed and really didn't do any work because they had slaves. Most of your founding fathers were slave owners. We're going to get to that in a few days. We're really going to be hammering out these guys. So many people have praise for the founding fathers, but we're going to tell the truth about a lot of them. A lot of these guys were not that great. But anyway, that's coming up in a few days. Anyway, right now we're going to talk about these guys were the upper echelon, and they didn't like what Great Britain was doing. Now, some of them did. A lot of the states and a lot of the people were okay with it. They had to talk them into it, had to do some hustling and bustling. And we had a revolution because we were sick of government. We didn't have any representation over there in Great Britain. And what representation we had was like an ambassador going over there, maybe Ben Franklin going over there, throwing his weight around, but they didn't care. They weren't going to do anything about anything like that. They were taxing us. They were telling us what to do. We didn't have representation. So when the founding fathers, after the revolution and we won, they decided we would elect representatives. And okay, all right, I'm down with that. We got some good representatives out there. We've had some representatives, congressmen, senators over the years that have done a good job. That were working class heroes. They actually worked for a living. They struggled. They didn't come from anything. Some of them, they actually worked hard. They didn't have all the slaves and all this other stuff. They didn't have the privilege that a lot of people had. And they actually cared about the people. They could relate. They understood. But you look over the time now. You look over things right now, and we're going to talk about this. Now, check this out. Do you really think that your representatives, your congressmen, your senators, do you really think they care about you and I? Do you think they care about us? Do you think they care, or do you think they just want to get reelected all the time? Now, they make $174,000 a year. And some people say, well, that's not a lot of money for what they do. No, that's awful lot of money because, they get travel expenses. They get living expenses. They get people, like aides and stuff to help them. Ask Bill Clinton about that. They get volunteers. All they have to do is show up now and then and vote. Maybe send some emails, go on Twitter, spout off a little bit or something. But do you really, really believe that these people over the course of time, do you think they care about us? And you go back and look at some of these rich people, rich famous people that have run. Do you think they were running because they cared about us? No. They were running because they cared about themselves, their money, their businesses. And that's where most of these people in the House and the Senate and at the state levels, that's where they're from. That's what they're doing. A majority of them, not all of them, there's some good ones out there, but most of them don't care about us. And you have to stop and think and look at some of these people. You know, the average American, the percentage of the average United States citizen that are millionaires is about 12%. And if you take some of these people out of there, who I'm going to talk about right now, the average congressman, the average senator, well, let's go. The average congressman, over 50% of the members of Congress are millionaires. And, you know, when you take them out of the mix, that lowers the level down. That means approximately 7% of the general U.S. population is millionaires. Now, do you think that 55%, I'll go on the low end, I'll say 50%, and I know it's higher than that, but do you think 50% of the people sitting in Congress voting that are millionaires, do you think they care about you and me? Do you think they care about the 93% of us who aren't millionaires? No, they don't. They don't care, people. First of all, most of these people on $174,000 a year salary, they're still paying taxes. So after that, let's say they clear 120 grand. And I'm actually going on the low end on that because these guys know how to play the tax game. I'm serious, man. Some of these guys have so many tax deductions with their so-called businesses and stuff. Plus, they get donations, campaign contributions they don't have to claim. I mean, they know how to play the game. So let's just say 120 grand a year. Cleared. They still have to pay their bills, don't they? They still have to pay for their houses, their cars, their food. I mean, don't they pay for that stuff? No. They do, but that money's coming from people go, here's $10,000. Vote for us for this way. Then you got another company coming in saying, here's $10,000, and 5 of their guys come in, so here's $50,000 basically. Vote our way. Which way you think they're going to vote? Whoever pays the most or whoever they really believe in? No. It's whoever pays the most. These people are being bought and sold. Our politicians, a majority of them, like I say, not all of them, are a bunch of corrupt crooks. What are you going to do about it? Vote them out? Yeah, right. Like that's going to work. These guys don't care about us at all. They're, like I said, they're multimillionaires. We don't have that opportunity. And here's another thing. Out of 100 American senators, 73 have a net worth of over $1 million. So let's say this guy's in there for 10 years, makes $100,000 a year clear. Let's go on the low end. 10 years he makes $1 million. Okay, all right. Well, how come these guys are in there for a couple years and they're already worth millions? And then they cover it up because websites are easy to buy. A lot of them, like Snopes. I don't know if you know much about Snopes. There was a girl that was attacking them all the time, proving a lot of the stuff they would always publish was lies. So what does Snopes do? They hired her. They paid her a lot of money to come in there, and now she's lying just like the rest of them. They'll tell you what they want you to hear because they have an agenda. The Snopes is a very leftist, liberal agenda. They're not going to tell you the truth. Most of these places aren't going to do the truth. You go search for something, you're going to get 10 different responses, 12 different answers. You might never, ever get the truth. I'll tell you the truth. These people are corrupt. How they get in there and get all this money? Because they're getting kickbacks. They're getting payoffs. Here's Nancy Pelosi. Oh, my husband trades in the stock market. Okay, that's cool. You know what? Where does he get his tips? You know that every business that goes up for sale goes through the House and Senate. They know what's going on. They see all these sales going. They get all the paperwork before anybody else does. So they know what to invest in. These people are crooks, everybody. The Founding Fathers had good concepts. It all went wrong because greed always gets in the way, man. So you got all these people, all these multimillionaire politicians. Again, do you think they care about me and you and the working man? Do you think most of the presidents we have care about you? Heck no. And then look at old Barry Obama, worth millions and millions of dollars, right? And you know how he made that money? They said, well, you know, his presidential salary. No, he shouldn't be worth the money he has. They say, well, it's from his book sales. Now, between me and you, I've never seen anybody buy his book. I see it in the store for 99 cents so they could get rid of it. I don't know anybody that has that book. And if you do, I bet it was not very good reading. But that's how he made all his money. Yeah, right. Made all his money by being a crook, getting kickbacks, just like most of the other ones out there did. You got these career politicians like Bernie Sanders sitting there talking about Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire, and he's criticizing him. Hey, Bernie, you haven't worked a day in your life, boy. You got an illegitimate bastard son in Israel you never went to see. Yeah, I'll tell the truth. He's got a kid over there. He's never seen him, never supported him, doesn't care, won't go to Israel. He doesn't like Israelis or Jews. But anyway, he's worth millions and millions of dollars. Corrupt career politician. That's all he is. But then he's going to go and cast stones at other people? That's what they do. They do that so you look away from them. It's like, yeah, let's not go after Bernie. Let's go after Elon. Yeah, Elon's a bad guy. You know? And that's what they do. They deflect. And they turn everything around. Make someone else out to be the bad guy to take the heat off of them. I'm telling you, these people are freaking crooks. Again, I keep reiterating this. Not all of them. A lot of them are some good ones they're trying. But what happens to the ones that try? It would be me walking in there, freshman congressman, going, I'm passing this bill. The next thing you know, that bill's got so much pork added to it, it takes away what I'm trying to do. And I can't do anything about it because I'm a freshman. I'm newbie. You got to play the game, boy. You do what we say, or they'll get rid of you. They will pay money for your district to get rid of you. Trust me. I know how this game is played. I've talked to politicians. I've seen them. I've got a few friends that were congressmen. All right? I've talked to a lot of people. I know people, man. Might sound strange, but look it. When I see somebody, I talk to them. I'll talk to anybody and everybody. And some of the people I've talked to, it blows my mind. I'm like, whoa, dude, I didn't know that. Well, it's nice to meet you. You're my new friend. I mean, I got some friends in high places, or they were in high places. They'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. You have had people that ran for office, like the Rockefellers. Henry Ford ran for office. Well, why? Why did Henry run for office? Because he had an agenda. These guys want to protect their money. They want to do what they can do. Henry Ford wanted to be president. You know why? Because he wanted the Federal Reserve. He wanted a World Bank in there. He wanted them to control all the money so he could be a part of it too. He knew what he was doing. He was a shyster. I don't like Henry Ford. I won't drive a Ford because he supported Nazis. Probably didn't know that, did you? Oh, yeah. Henry Ford, they built cars over there. He gave money to him. He got an award from Hitler. Yeah, he was a shyster. He was a Newcoff, man. I don't like him. A freaking nudnik, all right? But anyway, the wealthiest, the top 10% of the wealthiest lawmakers we've ever had hold 3 times as much wealth as 90% of America. They have, some of these guys over the years, their net worth is hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's going back a ways. But then you look at some of these newer guys, and here's the deal too. You can go look up their net worth. You won't see the real deal. You only get that from me. You won't find out how much these guys really have. They're crooks. And we need to do something about it, people. Here's another thing. All right? Here's another thing I've often wondered. And this has come on lately in the past, 40, 50 years or so. Because back in the day, you had politicians that came from nothing. Not as many as you think, but there were some out there, like I said earlier. Nowadays, I really have to wonder about some of these people. And you start researching their families. You see where they're at in politics. And I question, how the heck did this person even get elected? Where did this person come from? They grew up in just an average household. It just blows my mind. And I'm looking at it going, wait a minute, man. Now, 96% of United States congressmen and 99% of senators all have at least a bachelor's degree in college. And you look at that, and people say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with that. So all these politicians have bachelor's degrees, yet only about a third of United States citizens have bachelor's degrees. Blacks and Hispanics are down on the low end of that. About 1/5 or less have bachelor's degrees. Asians are the number one, and politicians are 1A. You got to look and say, okay, if I'm sitting in a group of 100 people right now, like there's 100 senators, and 99% of them all have a bachelor's degree, and I'm sitting here with 100 people, and if I were to ask them who has a bachelor's degree, maybe a quarter of them do. You know, some of us will raise our hand and stuff, but are these guys really representing the United States citizen? And then when you go and you look at some of these people, first of all, when you hear some of them talk, you're like, how the heck did you get a college degree? You're dumb as a brick. I flushed things down the toilet that are smarter than you. I mean, good Lord, AOC. She can't even spell AOC. She's like, derp, A, Batman sign, Q, I don't know. She's dumb as a brick, man. Shoot, she's got 3 brain cells and 2 of them on a coffee break. So I'll tell you, man, you look at these people, and it's like, how did they get a college degree? And you start looking at their backgrounds and like, okay, they didn't excel in high school. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They don't, a lot of them, the ones that come from money, yes, you're going to get whatever because they're going to pay you off and bribe your way in. But you look at some of these people and you're like, how the heck did you get into college, boy? How did you get into a college? First of all, we know you're an idiot. Second of all, you look at your background. You don't have any capability. You didn't come from a lot of money. You know, it just blows my mind. Somebody's pulling strings somewhere for these people. These people are selling their souls or something. Somebody's out there reaching for these people. They're nothing but pawns and freaking puppets. Let's talk about Barry Obama for a minute. Barry went to Columbia University. That's a heavy-duty tech school. Now, he didn't have much money. He doesn't even know where he came from. You know, he came, I lived in Hawaii. I lived in Chicago. Nah, man, you come from Africa originally. Everybody knows that. And it's like, I don't know if you ever met. I would talk about it someday, but talk about his brothers someday. We're going to get into that. Blow your mind on that one. But all of a sudden, this guy who didn't really excel in school or anything, you know, high school, he's in Columbia University. That's a heavy-duty school, a very expensive school. Now, he graduates there and goes to Harvard. Well, you look at his Columbia University record, he didn't have enough good grade point average to get into Harvard. How did he get accepted? Well, it's because he's black. No, that's not why. No, somebody was pulling some strings for him. And you got to wonder who. Because the next thing you know, he's getting into a law firm, and they say he never really practiced anything. You know, even the people that worked with him. Even in Harvard, they said they never saw him. There's no records of him. There's no records. They said, oh, they buried it because he's president. No, they didn't. Got everybody else's president's grades and stuff. He didn't do squat there. He shouldn't have been there. He couldn't even get through Columbia. And then he becomes a lawyer. Then he goes to Chicago, becomes a freshman senator, does nothing. The only thing he ever passed on his own was late-term abortion bill. And next thing you know, he's president. Let me tell you, people, somebody's pulling their strings. These people are puppets. They are puppets for a higher power. And I'm not just saying that on a speculation. I know for a fact. How do these people get as far as they do? Look at Michelle Obama. How's she get into school? You had nothing. All of a sudden you're getting all this stuff? No, you're either laying on your back for somebody or you're selling your soul. You're going to be someone's puppet. And then when you get in there, you're pulling the strings for them. And let me tell you, people, that's the freaking truth. You go and you look up these people and the way they vote and stuff. Most of them vote party lines. And it's just like the book 1984, The Party Controls Everything. You know, that's a great book. I love that book. It's so relevant to today, what's going on. And the party. Everybody's working for the party. Everybody will do anything for the party. You have John Fetterman, who's actually smart enough to vote on his own. You know, I'm surprised he's still around. I wonder what's going to happen in the next election to him, because they don't like him. Because he votes against the Democrats all the time, and they don't like that very well. You're supposed to do whatever they say and do. Who's pulling the strings, people? I want to know who's pulling the strings at the top. The corporations, the people in charge, people like George Soros. Okay, I can't stand George Soros. Freaking Nazi. He's a Nazi. I don't like him. Obviously, you know that, and I'll preach to you about him too. But I'm sick of this stuff, people. I'm telling you, these guys don't give a damn about us at all. All they care about themselves, their career. Someday they might have to pay for all the stuff they have now. Most of them probably don't even realize that. Who are they working for? Ask yourself that. They're not working for me or you, are they? No, they're not. And they definitely don't care about the poor, the underclass, and definitely don't care about minorities. You go down into Detroit, Michigan, which is considered the blackest city in America. It's also one of the poorest. People are hurting down there. They're trying. I was down there a few years ago, down in the hood, driving through, and there's all these abandoned buildings, rickety old signs, people sleeping in the street, people begging, people selling crack, doing whatever they can to hustle, people selling their bodies out there. It's rough, man. And there on this old nasty fence between a couple abandoned buildings was a great big brand new sign, probably cost a couple $1,000s, brand spanking new. Gary Peters for Congress. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, you ain't never been to Detroit in your life except when it comes to going to the main areas, which are downtown and heavily protected, when it comes to the sporting events or the halls down there. No, you ain't never been in that neighborhood. I'd probably paid a homeless guy to put it up. Well, no, they wouldn't do that. They'd probably paid somebody a ton of money to do it because they don't care about the people down there. But I'm looking at this sign, and I'm like looking at the people sleeping underneath it. I wanted to go out and tell them, hey, you want me to take that sign down? You can at least use it as cover, protect you from the shelter and the elements, man. And it made me sick. It made me sick because the only time you'll see a sign is when it's election time. The only time you hear anybody talking about going into Detroit or the brothers and sisters in the poor cities like Jackson, Mississippi or Flint, Michigan, any places like that, the only time you hear it is when it's election time. That's when the signs come out. That's when they go in there. Right now they're talking reparations again. They get all the black folks going about reparations. Ain't going to happen. People, vote for people, not parties. Research these people. They are not going to give you reparations. If you haven't got it by now, you're never going to get it. They make lies. They're campaign promises. They're lies. They go down there and they tell the black folks, we're going to come in and we're going to build this factory. And then they're like, no, factory, we moved it somewhere else. We're going to come in and build low-income housing. No, we built this really nice area in an all-white community. I mean, it's horrible. They don't care about the blacks. They don't care about the brothers and sisters. They don't care about the poor. All they care about is getting reelected, wearing their $1,000 suits. They wear suits that cost more than most of these people make in a freaking year. All right, you think I'm exaggerating, man. No. All right, I come from the hood. I come from a poor city. You know, I recently went up to my old city, and I'm looking at the houses that I used to live in. One's an empty lot now. The other ones were wide open. I walked in, took pictures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's horrible. They're abandoned. They're trashed. But people are living in there. I saw some mattresses. I saw signs of life. Nobody was in there when I went there. You know, did a few things. So maybe they came in and go, oh, sweet, man. You know, got a little gift. I hope they bless them, man. I feel bad for the people. It's not like it used to be. Flint, Michigan used to be home to the world's largest auto factory. Now it's home to the world's largest abandoned lot. I'm not even exaggerating, people. And those politicians up there, they don't give a damn. The governor of Michigan just took a few $1 million off of what they were going to give to Flint. Why? They're hurting. Let's create some jobs, people. They don't care because they got their jobs. You know she comes from money, right, old Gretchen Whitmer? Her old man was CEO, basically, of Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a major medical corporation that makes billions of dollars, makes billions giving medical aid to people that the people have to pay for. They know what they're doing. These businesses, they know what they're doing. These politicians, it's all a sham and a scam. And it's time, America, that we freaking wake up. This is our country. The first step of everything is knowing what's going on, being exposed to the truth. And that's what I'm telling you. The second step is joining together. We have to put aside all these petty little differences, but you won't, because they want you to hate one another. They want you to be divided. Divide and conquer. I say it all the time. The oldest freaking trick in the book, and they know what they're doing. Democrats versus Republicans. How many of you think of them go out and eat together, party together? You know they do. Shoot, I bet you some of them sleep together. Ugh. Just sorry, I thought about somebody having to sleep with AOC. I don't care what they say. You know, when Trump opened the Strait of Hormuz, I thought they were talking about her. Get it? Hormuz? That's a good one. Anyway, I don't trust these people. And you shouldn't either. If you're going to vote for a politician, research it. Or maybe run yourself. Try to get in there. I can't run. They'd shoot me dead. They'd put 3 bullets in my head, take me across the road so they didn't have to do the paperwork on it and say, it was suicide. He did it to himself. They'd be like, well, how come there's 3 different bullets in him? This conference is over. That's how they are. You're not going to get the truth from them. They hide everything. They know what they're doing. We need to take our country back, people. I'm trying to wake you guys up. I'm reaching out to you. This is the United States of America. It's failing. It's failing bad. It's falling fast. We need to get it back. Wake up, people. We need to join together. That's the first step. Stop hating somebody because of political parties or the food they eat or the car they drive. Stop hating for stupid little things like that. There's people that will kill somebody over a sporting team, a sporting event. All kinds of stupid stuff out there. Stop it. Let's join together. Let's get together, man. This is our country, people. We need to take it back, my brothers and sisters. All right? The real deal always coming at you with the straight truth. Peace and love, my brothers. United we stand. Divided we fall.